Adventure Time is filled with multiple tragic characters, from the Ice King to even Marceline. Most of the characters we see are on a path of healing, remembrance, or acceptance after some form of profound and often lonely loss. But what if I told you that there was one character who had been destined for a life of pain and suffering before he was even born? That character is Barco, who was introduced to us in the episode The Suitor. Throughout this video, I will take you on a journey to show you why he never stood a chance for a fair opportunity to live life. At the time of his youth, he had already fallen into a tragic cycle orchestrated by the people around him, making him one of the show's most purely doomed characters. If that sounds like something you might like, sit back, relax, and enjoy the video. The episode takes us to a scene in Princess Bubblegum's castle, where a group of suitors have presented themselves at the entrance of the room, presumably to ask for her hand in marriage. We don't know why they're here, but all we know is that a line of men that spans the entire corridor have been waiting decades for a chance to ask her out. Peppermint Butler is surprised at this cast of people, but his attention is caught by a young person at the end of the line. This young person introduces himself as Barco, explaining that he was born to court the princess and that he inherited his spot from his father. Because of this, Peppermint Butler takes a chance on him and introduces him to Princess Bubblegum. At this time, Bubblegum is literally face deep in some pizza in the laboratory, but she seems not to have slept for days and is clearly preoccupied with other things. When Barco asks her out, her immediate response is to deny him on the spot. She further explains that what he is feeling is simply infatuation, but he refuses, and at a meeting in the evening garden, he tries his best to woo Princess Bubblegum, but obviously she ends up leaving. This breaks his hearts, but somehow he deludes himself into believing that she will come back from him, even screaming something along the lines of "I will not mess up." Back at the lab, Princess Bubblegum summons Finn and Jake, tasking them with retrieving a soul stone located deep within the vapor swamps. And because of this, she also gives them a map. But Barco approaches both of them when they leave her place and asks for the map, believing that if he went to get the stone and presented it to Princess Bubblegum, that would finally earn her affection. They reluctantly give it to him, and Finn warns Barco that the path he's chosen leads to nowhere, serving as an ominous prediction of the heartache that lies ahead. Barco proceeds to the Soulstone's location, where he faces monsters and suffers severe burns while trying to obtain a key that unlocks the stone's container. He is confronted by the beast after being beaten up by those monsters. The beast demands to know why he stole his treasure, and Barco's simple but heartbreaking answer is that it is for the one he loves. This convinces the beast, who allows Barco to take the stone home. Unfortunately, when he presents it to Princess Bubblegum, she rejects it, stating that she no longer needs it. The reason being that she has just finished programming a proper simulation of the stone, which she found easier to manipulate than the real one. Barco returns to his room, utterly defeated, and in a burst of frustration, he smashes the soul stone and sweeps everything off his desk, asking himself why Princess Bubblegum will not love him. It is at this point that Barco decides to finally give up on his fruitless pursuit of Princess Bubblegum. But Peppermint Butler steps in, offering to help him using Shadow Demon magic. This causes Peppermint Butler to bargain with the Shadow Demon and turn Barco into a deformed three-legged beast. In his hideous new form, he thinks of himself as a walking love magnet, then rushes back to the castle and into Bubblegum's lab, where he discovers that she made a robot version of herself. Barco asks the princess if she loves him now, but she explains that she does love him, but in the type of love that she holds for all her candy citizens, undifferentiated. She continues by saying that she could not permit one of her citizens to suffer the way that Barco has over her, and so she created a doppelganger named Peabot for him. He admits that that's kind of weird and that the solution feels wrong, but after Peabot kisses him and suggests that they leave the lab, he is satisfied, and he carries Peabot and leaps off the lab's balcony, shouting to thank the princess as they depart. And this brings his short but tragic story to an end. And the reason why I consider it to be so unfair to him was that his story was over before it even started. His obsession with Princess Bubblegum was not new to him, but rather something that seemed inherited. I say this because when he goes into his grandfather's coffin for inspiration on how to woo the princess, he makes a statement that his grandpa is the one who knows the most about her. And this has a lot of implications. First, it suggests that his grandfather passed this obsessive ambition to Barco's dad, who then passed it on to him. Second, since Princess Bubblegum is unaware of this person who apparently knew so much about her, it's possible that Barco's grandfather had a parasitic one-sided devotion relationship with Princess Bubblegum that compelled him to stalk her and gather information on her. And these are both very troubling that show the extent of this familiar obsession. More to his family, from the minute he was born, an adopted goal was placed upon him. That goal was to get Princess Bubblegum's affection. And he claims that he inherited his father's place in the line of suitors to Princess Bubblegum. It is likely to presume that he had never been given an opportunity to venture into anything outside of his family's desire to be with Princess Bubblegum. And this shaped his mindset and thinking for everything that was to follow once he met her outside of the line that his father once stood. This sets up his whole demeanor as the character we see on the screen. He's emotionally unstable, very obsessive, and potentially violent. When he is first introduced to us, he comes across as happy-go-lucky, but as the episode progresses, we see how far he is willing to go when the princess does not reciprocate his feelings. He puts himself in harm's way numerous times, both physically and mentally, and does not listen to reason or stop for a moment to think about whether what he wants is truly the best move in light of the situation or whether that's what Princess Bubblegum would even want. But nah, he's ready to jump all in. And speaking of Princess Bubblegum, I think this is one of the few times that she acts in a way that most people can't blame her for. Her answer to Barco's proposals of love is very befitting given the context and the relationship between both characters. So like she said, she loves him in the same way that a mother would love her children, or a queen her subjects. And this is most likely because she created all the candy people. So the idea of her being romantically involved with one of them, now that she has fully taken on the role of their leader, would be wrong. I see where she's coming from in making the decision, and I fully support it. My only issue is that if she knew she was going to do it from the start and create a robot for him, she should have said something about it so that he wouldn't have disfigured himself in the name of trying to win her affection. Because he went through a lot before coming to the conclusion that he would not end up with her. With all of that being said, I think that he was more than satisfied with the way that things played out, with him getting P-Bot at the end of the episode and jumping off to spend the presumable eternity with her, which seems like a somewhat bittersweet ending to a character that was plagued with tragedy and suffering from the start. And yeah, that's Barco's story, and that's a character I believe to have one of the most tragic stories in Adventure Time who is often underlooked. So this brings me to the end of the episode for today, and you can let me know in the comments if you enjoyed this video and which other tragic characters that I should consider talking about in future episodes. If you've made it this far, I really appreciate it. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe to the channel for more amazing cartoon content. If you enjoyed this video, you can click over here to watch a video on why Princess Bubblegum is a better leader than Rose Quartz. And you could also click over here to watch That Time Adventure Time had a Minecraft collab. Thanks again for watching. I'll see you all next time. Tune out.